CAWC's 40 years, my reflection really goes back to when I arrived in Chicago myself as a survivor of domestic violence. I came here with 2 suitcases, 2 children, $1,500, and very few resources. And so that was a time when we knew that we didn't talk about domestic violence. It was personal, it was private, and it was so much a culture of silence around it that women went and suffered and had no resources to turn to. Flash forward, 15 years later, and my path intersects with CAWC. For the first time in my life, I realized that there were places where women could go, and CAWC was the first place that they went to, because they had built an environment that said we want to have women be safe with their children. I wanted to be a part of it. So therein became the opportunity for me to be a part of a social change movement.
If it wasn't CAWC, it wouldn't be Greenhouse, and we wouldn't have a shelter, and we wouldn't be able to keep women safe, and for them to be able to have the space where they can heal, recover themselves, and their children as well, so that they can also learn how to live without violence. Women that come in today's day is not like the past. Now, the abuse is brutal. Women come with so many injuries. It's sometimes impossible. They have to go to the hospital before they come to the shelter, and the kids as well. So, what does it mean to me? It's a life-saving. It's my life. That's why I spent so many years in CAWC and in Greenhouse.
My name is Sally Crewer, and my connection to CAWC is through my late husband, Tom, who passed away a little over 4 months ago. And I met him approximately 15 years ago. And shortly after that, he started adopting CAWC families over the holidays, buying them holiday gifts and presents, and that is my connection to CAWC. I think what I have seen in the small part that I have played is the amazing effect it has on the individual. And the part that I enjoy is, yes, we can give cash to an organization as a cash donor, but actually when you buy a gift and you give a gift to an individual over the holidays and you see their reaction, and Tom always felt that no matter who you are, you should have a present to open up on Christmas Day or whatever holiday you celebrate. And I think over the 40 years, we have expanded that. You have expanded that to several families, lots of families. And I think just that little piece can make a big difference in someone's life, that knowing someone out there cares.
My name is Stephanie Love Patterson, and I am the Executive Director of Connections for Abused Women and Their Children. I've been here for 18 years. Our theme, 40 and Forward, means a lot to me. 40 and Forward means for 40 years we've been the voice for victims of domestic violence in this city, serving the Chicagoland area. I can only imagine 40 years ago a group of women sitting around a kitchen table saying, we're tired of hearing about women and children being harmed in our community, being threatened, or even being killed. And so I imagine the strength that those women had to say, let's start Chicago's first 24-hour domestic violence hotline. And then those courageous women said, that's not enough. We need more. So then they decided to start Chicago's first 24-hour domestic violence shelter called Greenhouse Shelter, a place where women and children can come and be free from abuse. They can get connected to so many other services. They can be validated and heard and believed, oftentimes for the very first time.
I am continually touched by the stories that I hear from our staff on how they have made a difference in the lives of our clients, the women and children affected by domestic violence. Some of these are the most heart-wrenching stories when you hear how they begin, but then they're truly inspiring when you see the progression of how we have empowered women and children to respond to the situations that they're involved in, and we give them the tools and the support that they need to go on independently and to provide for safety for themselves, and we're there to help them all during that journey. In these times of decreased support for social services in general, CAWC is providing an even more critical service to the community. We've been here for 40 years. We're a pillar of the community with regards to providing support for victims of domestic violence, the women and their children, and we're certainly planning on being here for another 40 more with everybody's support.
Some families live in cars in empty buildings or ride the train all night and still manage to send their kids to school and live in the street because there are no shelters. So I think CAWC Greenhouse really support that in keeping women free from violence during the time they are in the program.
So our future work is predicated on us understanding that women come to us and we tell them that they're not alone. And when they're in the shelter, they feel that. But when they leave our shelter, we have to be as responsible to letting women and children know that we will not support a culture that is abusive toward them and undermining their efforts to live free of abuse. So it's necessary for us not to just say, me too, but to say we too.
I've been doing this work for over 30 years now, and I can tell you that the face of victims of domestic violence has changed. The issues that we're seeing now are much more complex and complicated. Abusers are becoming much more clever, if you will, in the ways that they establish and maintain power and control. CAWC helps victims of domestic violence to think 2 and 3 and even 10 steps ahead of those perpetrators of domestic violence. But what we also do, I consider us to be visionaries in figuring out how can we offer services that's going to help to meet the needs, the expanding needs of victims and survivors of domestic violence.
I think it doesn't matter the dollar amount. If you're able to give $5 or $10, any amount would help. You can give it many ways. You can give of time, you can adopt families and purchase physical gifts for people, or you can donate dollars. And it can take $5 or $10 to change someone's life.
It's not just money, which is important for us, but you can also donate in lots of other ways, items for the shelter, items for our families, and just helping us with other services. So it takes a village, and we really do need everybody's support going forward.
We need a new shelter, definitely. Come on, people, we need a new shelter.